Picture this: a moonless night 40,000 years ago in Ice Age Europe. Round a flickering fire, our ancestors huddle together, their stone-tipped spears gleaming in the orange light. Somewhere in the darkness beyond, yellow eyes reflect the flame's eyes belonging to a 400-pound predator, armed with 7-inch canine teeth that could pierce a mammoth's hide. This is the stuff of nightmares, Hollywood blockbusters, and archaeological debates that have raged for over a century. But here is the question that will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about human survival. Did our early ancestors actually battle these saber-tooth killing machines? Or is this epic confrontation nothing more than a prehistoric myth? The monster in question first. Let's meet our supposed adversary. When most people hear saber-toothed tiger, they imagine Smilodon, Fatalis, the iconic cat with daggers for teeth that's become synonymous with Ice Age terror. But here's where the story gets complicated. Smilodon primarily stalked the Americas, not the caves of Europe where we find most evidence of early human habitation. The real European nightmare was Homotherium, the scimitar cat, and its even more terrifying cousin, the cave lion Panthera spalea beast, 25% larger than modern African lions. These weren't just big cats. They were evolutionary masterpieces of predation, with some species weighing up to 880 pounds of pure muscle and fury. The archaeological smoking gun. Now here's where our detective story takes a fascinating turn. In 1995, archaeologists working in Chigny, Germany, made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. They unearthed 400,000-year-old wooden spears, not crude pointed sticks, but sophisticated hunting weapons with carefully balanced weight distribution. These weren't tools for gathering berries. But the real bombshell came from Qesem Cave in Israel. Researchers found something extraordinary. Ancient hearths surrounded by the butchered remains of massive predators, including evidence of humans systematically processing saber-toothed cat bones for marrow. The cut marks were unmistakable. Our ancestors weren't just defending themselves. They were actively hunting these apex predators. Wait till it gets even more incredible: smoking spear point. In 2019, a team led by Dr. Marisa Rezi made headlines with a discovery that read like something from an adventure novel. The forensic analysis revealed something that challenged everything we thought we knew about early human capabilities. The angle of penetration, the force required, and the precision of the strike suggested not a desperate defensive act, but a calculated, coordinated hunt. This wasn't David versus Goliath. This was a pack of early humans who had developed specific techniques for taking down megafauna predators. The strategy of survival? But how did relatively small, seemingly vulnerable humans manage to consistently defeat predators that could crush a skull with a single bite? The answer lies in something that makes this story even more remarkable: collective intelligence and technological innovation. Archaeological evidence from sites across Europe and Africa reveals a sophisticated understanding of predator behavior. Early humans learned to exploit the very weapons that made saber-toothed cats so dangerous. Those massive canine teeth, while devastating for piercing thick hide, were also incredibly fragile. A well-placed strike to the jaw could snap them off, instantly transforming an apex predator into a disabled animal. Researchers have identified what they call saber-tooth battlefields locations, where multiple predator remains show evidence of systematic human intervention. At Atapuerca in Spain, archaeologists found the remains of at least 12 large carnivores, all bearing the telltale signs of human processing. The bone modification patterns suggest our ancestors had developed specific techniques for different species. They were writing the world's first predator hunting manual. The climate plot twist here's where our story takes an unexpected turn that changes everything. New climate data reveals that the peak of human saber-tooth confrontations coincided with dramatic environmental shifts. As ice sheets advanced and retreated, both humans and large predators were forced into increasingly smaller refuge areas. This wasn't random violence, it was competition for survival in a shrinking world. Cave systems that provided shelter became battlegrounds. Water sources became contested territories. The famous painted caves of Lascaux and Chauvet weren't just art galleries. They were victory monuments, recording successful hunts and territorial conquests over the most dangerous predators of the Ice Age. The genetic evidence. In 2021, geneticists added another layer to this prehistoric thriller. Analysis of ancient DNA from European cave sediments revealed something startling. Human and large predator populations showed synchronized fluctuations over thousands of years. When saber-tooth populations declined, human settlements expanded. When predator numbers recovered, human communities contracted or disappeared entirely. This genetic arms race lasted for millennia, with each species pushing the other to evolutionary extremes. Humans developed longer legs for running, more robust skulls for impact resistance, and increasingly sophisticated tool-making abilities. Meanwhile, the large cats grew larger, more powerful, and more specialized for taking down human-sized prey. The final verdict. So did early humans really fight saber-toothed tigers? The evidence is overwhelming. Absolutely yes. But this wasn't the chaotic, desperate struggle often depicted in popular culture. It was something far more impressive, a systematic campaign of territorial conquest that demonstrated the incredible adaptability and intelligence of our species. The real story isn't about individual heroes facing down monsters. It's about small groups of early humans who developed technologies, strategies, social cooperation sophisticated enough to challenge and ultimately outlast some of the most successful predators in Earth's history. When the last Homo therium died out around 10,000 years ago, and the final cave lions disappeared from Europe, it wasn't because of climate change alone. It was because a relatively small, seemingly vulnerable species had learned something that no other creature on Earth had mastered: how to turn intelligence into an evolutionary weapon more powerful than fangs, claws, or size. The next time you see a saber-toothed cat in a museum, remember, your ancestors looked into those yellow eyes, hefted their spears, and decided they wanted those caves more than the monsters did. And incredibly, impossibly, they won.